Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Liverpool might not yet have added to Arne Slot's inherited squad this summer, despite the £25 million signing of Georgi Mamardashvili from Valencia, but that could be about to change during the final days of the transfer window. While the Georgian goalkeeper will remain with the La Liga club this season, the Reds have asked about the availability of Federico Chiesa of Juventus. The forward, who is out of contract next summer and surplus to requirements in Turin, is understood to be available for around £13 million. The Italy international is not the only player on Liverpool's radar though, with the Reds tracking several players as they consider whether to strengthen their squad ahead of Friday's 11 p.m. transfer deadline. There are likely to be several outgoings too, with Stefan Bajcetic and Tyler Morton subject of loan interest from Red Bull Salzburg and Bayer Leverkusen respectively. Elsewhere, Joe Gomez was said to still be continuing to explore his options ahead of a potential exit prior to being recalled to Slot's matchday squad for last weekend's win over Brentford. Meanwhile, the likes of Nat Phillips, Ben Doak, Kyle Gordon and Marcelo Pitaluga could also be on the move before the end of the month, having already sold Fabio Carvalho, Bobby Clark and Sepp van den Berg for an overall fee worth up to £62.5 million. Liverpool currently boast 24 senior players that would need to be registered in their Premier League and Champions League squads. This leaves them space for one senior summer signing during the final days of the transfer window as things stand. For the 2024-25 season, a player must be registered in a senior 25-man squad if they were born before January 1, 2003. Any players born on or after that date don't need to be registered and can still play in the Premier League as under-21s players, or be placed on List B for UEFA competition and still be eligible to play, providing they meet other criteria. However, further outgoings would create more openings for would-be new arrivals during a busy end to the transfer window at Anfield. Following Owen Beck's loan move to Blackburn Rovers, Liverpool currently boast 9 homegrown players over the age of 21, ensuring they can fill the required minimum 8-man quota to name a full 25-man squad. However, such a total will likely have dwindled by the time the transfer window closes. Should Morton and Phillips depart, for example, the Reds would boast 7 homegrown players and be limited to a maximum 24-man squad, then throw in possible exits for Gomez and Pitaluga, and the likelihood that Tom Hill won't be considered for first-team action. And Slot could be left with only Trent Alexander-Arnold, Curtis Jones, Vidislav Jaros and Queven Kelleher as senior homegrown players. Meanwhile, Liverpool currently boast 14 senior overseas players in their ranks, meaning they have space for a further 3 foreign new signings before the transfer window closes. If the Reds wish to name more than 8 homegrown players, they would occupy those extra berths. But as previously mentioned, they still have room for one new signing without the need for any exits. Chiesa perhaps, with Mamardashvili not needing to be considered until next summer, if Liverpool use their current homegrown options to fill the required 8-man quota. They have room for up to 3 new signings in their 25-man senior squad before the transfer window closes. If more depart, their maximum squad size would reduce accordingly if not replaced by new signings who also qualify as homegrown, though Slot has already admitted he currently doesn't expect to lose any senior players. At this moment I am expecting everyone to be here, he said when asked about Gomez's future ahead of facing Brentford. But you are maybe even longer in football than I am. Everything can change. So, talking hypothetically, if Morton, Phillips and Pitaluga left the club before the transfer window closes, Gomez was retained and Hill was left out of Slot's senior squad, the Reds would be left with 19 senior players. As a result, they would be free to sign 3 overseas players and 3 homegrown players to their ranks, but just because they can, does not mean they will. Slot has regularly spoken about the strength of the squad he inherited from Jurgen Klopp since taking over as Liverpool head coach, with it always understood that the Reds were not expecting to be particularly active in the window despite previous interest in the likes of Lenny Yoro, Anthony Gordon and Martin Zubimendi. Slot's priority has been working with the current squad in the belief he will improve it, as perhaps has already been demonstrated during an encouraging start to the campaign, with Liverpool having faith in the depth and quality available in their ranks. Admittedly, the Reds won't be left short even if such berths in their 25-man senior squad are not filled. The likes of Harvey Elliott, Jarell Quansah and Connor Bradley all still qualify as under-21s players and don't need to be registered, while the same is true of the likes of Bajcetic, Doak and Gordon if they end up staying put. Liverpool might not yet have signed anyone this summer, but they do have room to maneuver if Slot and sporting director Richard Hughes are to strengthen their ranks before the transfer window closes on Friday night. But after inquiring after Chiesa, how much they take advantage of such openings in their squad remains to be seen.